What's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing well. Now for today's video, I wanted to focus on something that we haven't really gone over in a very long while. So about 5 years ago, I did a video on what was inside of the restricted area of Jurassic World, and lately there seems to be a lot of interest in this particular topic. And with the release of a lot of newer material in the half decade that has passed since, I thought it would be fun to look over this section of Isla Nublar for speculation's sake, while also diving into the canon and seeing how the current world of Jurassic Park matches up to what was available to us a few years ago. Oh, and by the way, also wanted to talk about this in relation to newer material that could tie back into the old park soon. When it comes to the restricted section of Jurassic World, we actually do have quite a bit of information to glean clues over as to what could be on that island. Outside of officially documented animals in the park itself on brochures and Innovation Center lists, there are also random dinosaur species popping up in seasons of the Netflix show, as well as dead carcasses of animals adorning the island after the fall of Jurassic World. What makes matters even more interesting, though, are the inclusion of creatures that InGen is confirmed to have DNA of in later sequels, such as the Giganotosaurus, which was interestingly not recognized by Owen Grady in Jurassic World Dominion, however was something that Dr. Wu had DNA of when creating the Mortem Rex. So while that wasn't cloned on the island as far as Owen is concerned, there was DNA of it. And speaking of the Indominus, we have not only the numerous hybrid dinosaurs that are flashing on the InGen screen at the end of the fourth movie, but also the revelation of other hybrids tucked away in secret on the island in the Netflix show. And when we talk about the future of the franchise, keep in mind, guys, that they can return to the island whenever they feel like it. And since each sequel has revealed some new animal that we've never seen before, it could very well be a possibility that we could see something on that island specifically new in the future. They really can write whatever they want to, guys, for better and worse. So with speculation of animals like Titanoboa, Megalodon, Plesiosaurus, or even the ichthyosaurs that we see in early storyboards for Jurassic World, I don't really think it would be surprising to hear of some sort of reveal or revelation that they did at one point in time exist on the island in the future, especially after the news came out that JP7 will take at least some of its plot partially on an island, whether that's Isla Nublar, Sorna, another location in Las Cinco Mortes, or even a brand new location itself like the Sanctuary from Fallen Kingdom. We do not know. This video is going to be using official canonized info as well as what's on screen in the films themselves to back some of these theories up. So, when it comes to the restricted area in Jurassic World, we know that a few species have long been rumored to being housed in this section of Nublar. For one, Fallen Kingdom introduced audiences to the Carnotaurus and Allosaurus that show up in that movie, neither of which were listed in Jurassic World like the Baryonyx was, but I will admit, Camp Cretaceous kinda makes this confusing with additions to the canon that we've gotten since. Now, personally, I do believe that the Allosaurs in particular were being housed in the restricted area of the island, but for more than just one reason. You see, the Allos in Fallen Kingdom, they're not fully grown, meaning they were probably still getting prepped for release in the wider park. But also keep in mind that this was a dinosaur Hammond was planning to roll out in the original Jurassic Park. So it's been a project that InGen was working on for literally decades, and the only place that makes sense for it to logically be before the fall of 2015 is in this restricted area. Who knows what was actually going on there with the animals, like their habitats, their pens, how they even got out after the fall of Jurassic World, but there had to be some guys going there and like checking up on the animals and making sure that they were going to be ready before they were rolled out to the public. Now in the script, which is an idea that went unused, keep in mind, Owen and Claire were actually supposed to stumble upon a Stegoceratops that Dr. Wu had cloned and kind of let get loose on the island. So, if there was going to be some more shady stuff going on Nublar, it probably was planned to be over there. Again, in Fallen Kingdom, we see the carcasses of several different dinosaurs near the volcano, none of which were ever attractions on the island, such as the Teratophonius and Deinosuchus, the latter of which was even used for Indominus Rex DNA in the movie from 2015. We can also see a dead ankylosaur, known as Peloraplides, in the Fallen Kingdom trailer, which means that there were indeed quite a lot of species that were never officially named in the film's park itself that did indeed live on the island and were probably cloned here. In fact, this is one of the reasons that I think Jurassic World could get away with including pretty much whatever it wants in newer stories. Even Camp Cretaceous bringing up Monolophosaurus and Tyrannosaurus in season 3. Truthfully, we don't know what could be out there on the island, or at least what was out there before the volcano went off in 2018, but the Teratophonius carcass being right on the edge of that building where the volcano was directly located on Nublar before it went off meant that they were taking up residence and territory there. I don't know how they died, if it was either being hunted down into extinction like the Metriacanthosaurus, or maybe something else like they were just absorbing all of those toxic fumes. The bottom line is they were living in the restricted area, and they were probably always living there even before the events of Fallen Kingdom. With the introduction of an animal like the Scorpius Rex, by the way, the first ever cloned hybrid for the park, and the list of species that Dr. Henry Wu has in the lab within the 2015 film, we could be talking about loads of unused dinosaurs that were at the very least in the genetic building block stages of cloning for the island. I'm not saying this for a matter of fact by any means, but I do think it's weird that these animals we see on the screen in the lab in Jurassic World and in the script for the 4th movie are basically never alluded to at all after their brief cameos. At the very least, a clone alien resurrection style tank with dead clones would have been cool, on a science fiction level at that. Now, these would probably not been anywhere that wasn't restricted on the island, if you know what I mean, especially because of the script when Owen and Claire kind of stumble on that Stegoceratops. You know, probably one of the cooler things about Jurassic World that I think nobody really talks about is the whole fact that in Fallen Kingdom and the cutscenes from that movie, we can see that the corpses of these animals were actually not in cages, which means that they were, you know, kind of out and about trying to survive in the island before that volcano even went off. Imagine what it could have been like to see a group of engine hunters roll up on the restricted area of Jurassic World and march through a boggy swamp. Owen shows up behind and tells them to watch themselves for anything lurking in the water, even he not knowing what kind of animals Wu was working on in the lab. Suddenly you see guys get yanked down and start screaming before a violent splash in a tornado of water revealed a massive Deinosuchus has grabbed hold of a guy and begun a death roll on the island. Everyone running frantically to get clear of the swamp, while other animals like Baryonyx and Suchomimus filed in, now free of the Cretaceous crews and doing anything they can to survive. I mean, man, this stuff writes itself and sounds brutally cool. The restricted area of Jurassic World housed a few things that we know were set apart from the public. You know, the whole idea of these dinosaurs that were not officially rolled out into the park just yet, getting free and taking up residence there, is very cool. And Camp Cretaceous and even Dr. Wu's lab in Jurassic World leave the door open for it being pretty much anything you can possibly think of, at least being in a juvenile state in the restricted area. There is no concrete list, guys. That's the whole reason this area is so interesting. And if we ever go back to Nublar, I think we could see some pretty cool stuff if it did get away from the volcano and took up residence somewhere else on the island. But those are all just my own thoughts and opinions on the subject matter, guys. This is always a fun topic, and it's one that I think you could even go back to the original Jurassic Park and have some fun talking about Troodons. Speaking of Troodons, even the Jurassic World live tour introduced a different sort of design for that animal. Was that in the restricted area? Who knows? But whatever your own thoughts and opinions happen to be, I'd love to hear all about them in the comments down below. Now, before I go, I want to thank everyone that's helped me build my channel over the years. I'd also like to thank every one of you guys who've watched my stuff. You've all been extremely cool to me. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a like and hope that you'll consider subscribing. God bless you all. Christ is King. See you guys in the next video, and as always, take it easy.